Welcome back, deep divers. So you've sent in some really fascinating sources this time. They point towards this powerful idea, how information isn't just, describing reality. It actually seems to cause it, to shape it. So today we're diving deep into this, specifically the information state, or just I, from the Fox quantum geometry of information model.
Right. And our mission really is to unpack how you get from this huge pool of, potentials to something definite, something real.
Okay.
And the key thing is it's not random. There's a blueprint guiding it. And what's kind of wild is how universal this seems to be. You see it everywhere at totally different scales.
Yeah, that's what grabbed me. So to really get our heads around this blueprint idea, let's look at some maybe unexpected examples, like from business or just everyday life, even biology itself.
Sounds good.
We'll see how this information state is kind of pulling the strings behind the scenes. Okay, let's unpack this. So our sources kick off with a really clear analogy. A business plan. Thinking of that as an information state. You've got all this potential, right? Talent, money, materials, market needs, just sitting there.
Exactly. Just unrealized mass, basically. And that detailed business plan, that's the information state. It's the blueprint.
Right.
And when the Fox model talks about energy, it's not just fuel. It's the active power to transform things. So the investment, the work people put in, that's the energy making the business happen.
Okay. Turning
potential into reality.
Yeah.
And its unique culture or its brand. That's like its spin. Like a particle's spin dictates its behavior. So the values written in the plan, they aren't just words on paper. They actively shape their company's personality, its identity.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if something changes, like the market shifts, and it wasn't explicitly in the plan? Is the information state rigid or can it adapt?
Yeah, that's crucial. The model suggests a good information state, even a business plan, isn't totally static. It should have parameters for what it calls internal entanglement.
Internal entanglement.
Right. Think of it as the internal structure, the supply chains, how things are connected, and crucially, how they can reconnect, respond to change. So the better those adaptive pathways are defined in the blueprint, the more resilient the company will be when it actually forms. Without that specific plan, though, all those resources just stay, chaotic. Potential soup.
It sort of makes me think about baking. Seriously, when you try baking something without a recipe, total chaos, usually.
Yeah, exactly.
And our sources actually use a recipe as another example. Perfect information state. You've got flour, sugar, eggs, potentials in your pantry.
And the recipe, that specific recipe for, say, a chocolate cake, that's the blueprint. It's the guide. This is where a term like LP, signature for the model, comes in.
Signature, okay.
Yeah, think of it like the unique informational fingerprint. It defines what something is, fundamentally, its function. For the cake, it's the specific chemistry, the structure that makes it that chocolate cake, not, bread or scrambled eggs.
Right.
The recipe guides those interactions to produce that exact signature.
So you follow the recipe, the potentials collapse, like the model says, and boom, chocolate cake. It's definite.
Precisely.
And it's really amazing how this scales up, even to something as complex as life itself. The sources talk about the unrealized mass here being all the atoms and molecules just floating around, amino acids, proteins, water, potentials.
And the DNA sequence in a cell. That's the ultimate information state, the master blueprint for an organism.
Wow.
Its position is defined by how all those molecules are arranged precisely, forming organs, tissues. And its inherited magnetism, gravity. That's about its ability to reproduce, to influence its environment. It's the informational pull it has.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling, this tiny little blueprint DNA dictating something as complex as, us, through transcription, translation, all guided by that DNA information state. That raw potential of molecules collapses into a living thing, a functioning organism.
And you see it when things go wrong, right? Mutations, errors in the DNA blueprint. They lead to different, sometimes flawed outcomes. It just shows how critical that information state is.
It absolutely proves the point.
What's really profound here, I think, is that this whole principle, information state guiding the collapse of potential. It's not just some weird quantum thing happening at tiny scales.
Right.
It seems to be a fundamental pattern. You see it everywhere, across all scales. It really hammers home that information isn't just describing things. It's fundamentally causing them. Shaping reality.
So what does this all mean for you listening? I mean, understanding this concept, it really changes how you look at things, doesn't it? Building a business, baking a cake, even how life forms. They seem totally different, but this underlying principle connects them.
Yeah.
It feels like, I don't know, a shortcut. A shortcut to being really well informed about how things actually work.
And, it leaves you with a pretty big question. If information really is causative like this, what information states, what blueprints are shaping the big challenges we face today? Or maybe even, the small choices you make every day. What are the blueprints running your reality? Something to think about.